All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're not just talking about self-improvement. We're talking about something deeper, self-construction. We're going to look at the actual blueprints for building a more resilient, more purposeful, and, yeah, a more satisfied life on the inside.
But to get there, let's start with a really interesting puzzle from the world of sports. Have you ever noticed this? A team like the New England Patriots gets to the Super Bowl, they come within a hair's breadth of winning it all, and then the next season, they just seem to fall apart. You'd think that kind of devastating loss would be the ultimate fuel for a comeback, right? But so often, they just fizzle out. What is going on there?
Well, the answer is as simple as it is brutal. Their entire system of motivation, the very engine that got them there, was built around one external goal. And when that goal vanished in a puff of smoke, the whole system just collapsed. The fuel tank is empty, and there's nothing left to run on.
And this gets us to what you could call the Super Bowl paradox. It's this fascinating kind of backward situation that shows just how fragile our motivation can be. It proves that the very thing that should light a fire under us can end up doing the exact opposite.
So here's the big takeaway from that. Just because you get close to success, it guarantees absolutely nothing about the future. Motivation isn't some light switch you can just flick back on after a huge letdown. What this really shows us is that we need a much stronger engine inside of us.
So, to understand that engine, we need a better way to diagnose what's going on. Let's turn to this incredible framework from behavioral scientist Daniel Pink. He breaks down motivation into 7 distinct levels, and this is where you really start to see why so many of us feel stuck or burned out.
Okay, so take a look at this ladder. Way down at the bottom, you've got level 1, which is just survival. Do this or you're fired. Then you've got level 2, compliance, just doing what you're told. And level 3, where honestly a lot of people live, is obligation. You show up because you feel like you have to. Pink's big idea is that most of the world runs on these bottom 3 levels, but the real, lasting power, that's all the way at the top.
And this really gets to the heart of the matter. On one side, you have these external drivers, the classic carrots and sticks. They work for a little while, sure, but they're brittle. They break easily. But on the other side, you have the internal drivers that make up those top levels. Autonomy, the need to direct our own lives. Mastery, the urge to get better at stuff. And purpose, the desire to do what we do in service of something larger than ourselves. Now that is sustainable fuel.
This whole idea of falling short, it's not just about football games or job promotions. It's about something way deeper, something fundamentally human. The legendary coach Tony Dungy said it perfectly. We all have this sense that we're falling short, that we're miserably behind. It's this feeling that we've made mistakes that we can never quite fix.
So if our external motivation is so fragile, and if we're all basically guaranteed to mess up and fall short, what are we supposed to do? Well, this is where it gets really good. We get to the main idea, the architecture of renewal. The solution isn't to just try harder inside a broken system, it's to build a whole new system from the ground up.
And let me be really clear about this. The goal isn't to just get a better outcome next time, to win the game or to promise you'll do better. Nope. The real solution is to build a better system for processing everything life throws at you. The wins, the losses, the failures. Think of it like building a solid infrastructure for your inner world.
So what does that look like? Let's check out the blueprints for 2 of the most important systems you can build. The first is a system for dealing with failure, and the second is a system for creating real, lasting happiness.
Okay, first up, a system of love. Now, this isn't some fluffy, sentimental idea. This is about engineering. It's a deliberate, conscious architecture you build inside yourself that takes human failure, your own and other people's, and is designed to produce forgiveness as the output. So instead of the default reaction, which is to hold a grudge or punish, this system forces you to pause, to consider the context, and to focus on restoring the relationship. It's a system designed to repair, not to retaliate.
The second system is built around this incredibly simple yet powerful formula. Basically, your level of happiness is what you have divided by what you want. And once you really get this, it gives you 2 completely different strategies for being more content with your life.
So strategy 1 is the one we all know. It's about growing the top number, the numerator. It's about increasing your halves. But this doesn't just mean getting more stuff. The systemic way to do this is through gratitude, by actively choosing to want the things you already have.
But strategy 2, this is where things get really interesting and kind of radical. Instead of chasing more halves, you focus on shrinking the wants. You shrink the bottom number, the denominator. Just let that last line sink in for a second. Not wanting something is the same as having it.
That's a total game changer. It's a shift away from a life of accumulation to a life of true freedom.
So, where do we even begin with a project this big? Well, it starts by realizing one simple fact. You are the architect. You're in charge of the construction site. The entire universe you experience is the one that you build inside your own mind. I love this quote from Dr. Gabor Mate because it just nails it. Look, we may not be responsible for our childhoods or the world that shaped us. We can't control that. But we can, 100%, take responsibility for the mind, for the systems that we use to create our world today. And here's the best part of all. You already have all the building materials you need. You don't have to go out and find them. That capacity for joy, for purpose, for love, that whole bright and beautiful universe is already inside you. It's just waiting for an architecture to give it shape.
So as you start thinking about your own blueprints, here are 3 beautifully simple questions that can act as your guide. They point straight to that level 7 motivation we talked about. Number 1, are you good at it? That's mastery. Number 2, do you love it? That's passion. And number 3, do people need you to do it? That's purpose. When you find where those 3 things overlap, you found the bedrock for a life of meaning.
And that really just leaves us with one last thought. This isn't some abstract theory. It's a daily practice. It's construction work. It's about laying one brick at a time, one conscious decision, one thoughtful reaction, one moment of gratitude. So the only real question left is, what will you build today?